everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. All right. The topic today is he broke or just cheap? How to know if he's broke or really just cheap. All right. Let's get started. Now, you go on a date with a guy, and these are things really that you want to know. Many times you'll go out with the guy and you may assume that by the way that he looks, the car that he drives and all of that, he has it. Now, whether he has it or not, what's going to be important is whether he's going to be spending it on you or not. Okay? So let's go down the list of how to tell if he is broke or just cheap. Okay? Because some men will pretend that they're cheap when they really broke. All right, here we go. Number one, his excuses involve the next paycheck. A broke man says, I'll take you out when I get paid. That's what a broke, I'll take you out when I get paid, which means I ain't got no money now, but I'll take you out as soon as I get paid. Now, the cheap man will say, why spend $50 when we can eat at home? That's a cheap man. All right. Now, how about this one? He dodges bills like Neo in the Matrix. A broke man really can't afford to take you out to dinner. Or he can't afford Uber rides either. Now, a cheap man magically disappears when the check comes. All right? You don't want to deal with that. Or he'll say, ooh, you know what? I left my wallet at home. Can you handle this? No. These are men you want to avoid. Okay? Now, here we go. Gifts are non-existent or suspiciously thoughtful. All right, the broke man tries to be creative. He'll write you some little love notes, or he'll send you a playlist, or he'll make you some kind of handmade crafts. Or he'll buy you these little cheap little teddies that don't cost nothing. He'll give you something like that he found at the flea market. That's a broke man. Now, the cheap man, he says love shouldn't cost money. You see? He gets over by telling you things like that because he does not intend to spend his money on you. That's a cheap one. And some of them, they have in their mind that they don't intend to spend that on any woman. But this is the thing. If they met the woman of their dreams, they come off of that. I do honestly believe that. Okay? But other than that, they have in their minds that they're not going to spend their money on you. Maybe they were cheap their whole lives. Who knows? All right, here we go. Number 4. His lifestyle doesn't match his excuses. Everything he's going to do with you is going to be free. Everything. He can be creative. Let's take a walk in the woods, and let's go and climb this hill, or let's go to the park, or let's go to your house. Everything's going to be free if he's broke. If he's cheap, he's not going to spend money on you. Okay? Even if he's got it all, big house, big whatever, he'll still say, just come over and I'll fix something at home. He's not going to take you out and spend money. He knows how much he's willing to spend on you, so he keeps it close. And you won't see him take you out to a big fancy restaurant that costs money to go to. He don't want to do that. He may take you to some cheap places, takeout places, things like that. But when it comes to spending, a cheap man is not going to want to do that. Okay? Now, he's generous with others, but stingy to you. If he's broke, he struggles equally with everybody. Everybody he wants to give to, he broke all the way across the board. The cheap man buys rounds for his boys and makes you go Dutch. Look at that. That's a cheap man. Because he wants his boys to think he's big man and he's in control and all of that. You're like insignificant when it comes to that. So that's why you pay for your own. All right? He prioritizes flexing over necessities. The broke man, he drives a beater car and wears the same shoes all the time. He's just barely surviving. The cheap man drives a BMW, but refuses to tip the waiter $2. Now, number 7, he views money as a weapon, not a tool. The broke man feels guilty about not being able to provide. If he's broke, he's going to feel guilty, but you are going to be intimidating to him because he can't match your dollars. And wanting to be the man, it costs to be the boss. You don't just automatically be the boss. You understand? If you can't pay the bill, then you can't be the boss. All right? And men do understand that. So they try to make money insignificant in your relationship. See? So he'll get you used to doing things that don't cost anything. Because the broke man can't afford it. All right. And he'll talk and make plans for one day we'll go here, one day we'll go there, just to keep you on that high. Now, a cheap man uses his money to control and to manipulate you. And he won't spend it unless it benefits him. Okay? Think about that. He uses his money to control and manipulate you. But if he spends it, it's only to benefit him. Okay? All right. Number 8. He talks more about saving than building. If he's broke, he's focused on getting stable, side hustles, career moves. If he's cheap, he's obsessed with coupons, even when unnecessary. All right, one time I dated a man, and he had more than I had at that time. I was living in apartments. He already had a home and all of that. And he took me to a fast food place and took out a coupon. So I was a little thrown out by that, but that's the way he lived, because when he took out the coupon, he had a full wallet of coupons. Okay? So now we know if your man does that, he's cheap. All right. Or if he asks you to clip coupons and all that that's cheap. Okay. Vacations, dates. What's that? All right. If he's broke, he can't afford it right now, but talks about it in future plans. So if your man say, maybe in 2 years, a year and a half, or whatever, this is what we're going to be able to do. He's broke. He may never be able to do it. All right. But everything he talks about you doing together that costs money is always in the future somewhere. All right. Now, if he's cheap, he'll take out his album of pictures and show you all of the places where he's been. It's all about him. All of the places where he's been. And then, you say, oh, that's nice. I'd like to go there. But he'll never say, oh, I'll take you there. He don't say that. He ain't going to take you nowhere because that costs money. All right, that's a cheap man. But the broke man may say, oh, yeah, we can go there one day. That's the broke man. Okay? Okay. Number 10, he judges you for spending. He understands your spending habits and supports you. This is the broke man. He understands your spending habits and supports you. The cheap man criticizes your latte but spends 3 hours comparing prices. All right, so he'll criticize you for going out and spending on, let's say, a latte is kind of a luxury item. What they cost about $10, a latte or whatever. He doesn't buy anything without comparing prices of even little things. If it's something that costs $10, he wants to see, where can you get that latte for a whole lot cheaper than this? Things like that. But he'll criticize you for just going on and paying the $10 for what you wanted. All right. But that's a cheap man. So there you have it. Ways how to tell whether your man is broke or cheap. If he's broke, he can't afford it. So everything he's going to plan with you is going to be in the future. When I get paid, when I make this, in the future. And if he's cheap, he's not trying to make any plans with you that cost money. Unless you can pay your own way. Even if he can, if he's cheap, he's going to be counting every penny unless it benefits him. For instance, if he goes out with his boys or something like that, he wants to play the big man, he'll spend. But when it comes to you, it's every little penny. No, this costs too much. I'm not going to do that. Things like that. That's cheap. But ladies, you don't want either of these men in your life. The cheap or the broke. All right? The broke can't afford you, and the cheap don't really want you. So let it go, ladies. Love yourself. You deserve the best. So I hope that you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.